Vince, thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
For who don't know, Mr. Vince Perez is one of my mentors, and I always want to invite you to come here, but I was like, come, like, man, you're gonna say like, oh, this is bullshit, like, come on, I don't go there. Like, nah, I always scared, like, I swear to God, you see, like, even when I ask you, I was like, why do you think about, like, they say it's all good, but I always scared to get there.
I think people have that impression of me just naturally because of the persona.
Yeah, not the persona, because I always look at you, Mr. Garcia, Ronnie here, like up here, I take you guys as my example, like where I want to be, and then like, see, like, this is pretty much you're like, yeah, like I said, like what I love to do, like we talked before we go live. I do this because I love. I don't make any money. When we make this, I make myself, we put money here for nothing, just to burn money, because I like to do this. But when you get someone like, Renatão, you like, Punch, you always come here and we talk crap all the time. Like, man, you don't care. Like, we go like the first one, Punch, I told you, like, he was drinking, and then when he get drunk, start cursing and like, on me, man, like, what's fun. João was with me, but now he stopped. But when it comes like special person, like, what the heck, like, what are gonna talk about?
I appreciate the ask. At the same time, there's no secrets.
No secrets.
And you and I have had an evolving relationship since I met you. And,
that's good.
And it's amazing. As you say, a mentor. You're a mentor to me. Because of my choice and my hobby, our sickness. Called Jiu-jítsu.
We'll talk about this week too.
Oh yeah, we talk all the time.
We're gonna get off this injuries.
Yeah. What else do we keep coming back for more?
At the end of the day, what do you get from these injuries?
Yeah, get more surgeries, more special diets, more time away from family, things that people take exception to our time that we spend that with them, and we choose to come and do this instead of that. The sacrifice, and I'm fortunate. Like I said, I found jiu-jitsu because of my oldest son and because of my brother. And when I found jiu-jitsu, Mitch was a blue belt training with Jiva, and Mitchell, white to black belt.
I started
in college with
my brother too. I told him my brother started before me, and he bring me to jiu-jitsu, but then he stopped at blue belt.
Yeah.
My brother stopped when he started work in Brazil. He's a cop, so he stopped.
Yeah.
So I'm convinced, like, when I invite you, I say like I'm gonna bring someone that get compete at the high level in different sport. Because talk about jiu-jitsu, it's not easy, but it's kind of easy for us because I do jiu-jitsu for 26 years, so again, everybody like Pancho, Renato, João, everybody do jiu-jitsu for years, and we know a little bit how to get the next step for jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
But you compete.
I competed as a cyclist.
Cyclist.
At a young age, and it was more of a transitional phase from high school sports. Having it all change, and being young and not knowing what to do with the energy, and finding a bike and getting pretty good and doing a lot of work that there was no direction. And then,
why did you start?
First time I was on a bike competitively, I think I was probably 18 years old. And that was late. I was late. Like today's blue belts and purple belts, they're starting so young. I was already late bloomer at 18. I had already a high school football career or stint, and I was going to go play college and decided not to. And all these different things happen in life, but the short version is I started late in cycling, and again, friends, right?
But why like, what's your inspire you to go to the bike, specifically to the bike?
My friends were there doing it.
He was a professional too?
Yeah, and Ronnie.
Ronnie, yeah.
Yeah, so Ronnie Gillespie has been, I always make the joke or comment is my father raised me to be a man. Ronnie showed me what it's to be a man. The things he did in his life. And he lives in Las Vegas, and we see him. We've met him a few times, and he's got a great story every time we talk to him. But the short version is that he's an exceptional human being, and I've always tried to find people that were better than me or had a story to tell, and I would follow. And it was kind of like reading a book or cutting the corner. You don't have to go and figure everything out on your own. There's books. There's YouTube. Back then there was nothing like that. There was no podcast where people like, oh, you go train like this, you eat like this. There was nothing like that. You had to go and put yourself out there in a group, and you had to put yourself in a group that you weren't ready for.
That's what we talk about. Excuse me. The other day. Because before I don't have YouTube, don't have internet, nothing. Today is easier. Like back in the days, you won the worlds. And hope if you're not black belt, you hope to have a picture like this big on the magazine.
Yeah.
Like you have to wait for it. Oh, the world's done. Then like 2 weeks later, who's gonna be the pick? Then you go like, oh, blue belt. And show all your friends the freaking small picture of the magazine.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And for me, it was always my friends were always in the pictures, and I was always in the outside of the picture. It was always, the cycling lifestyle is very, back then in the late 80s, early 90s, is very similar to what Jiu-jitsu is to now, in my opinion. Is that there's a lot of secrets there, and you have to go out and find it, because what works for you in your training journey and how you arrive to here as we sit right now is not the journey I've had, and vice versa for everybody else that's in the room for Jiu-jitsu. So, we talk about the minimum tax to get into the room. What you have to do, the training, the lifestyle, the food, the cultures, it's things you have to kind of put yourself in there. And you have to understand that cycling was very similar back then, because there was no cutting the corner. There was corners to cut, but you had to go meet those people. It wasn't like a book. It wasn't a YouTube video. It wasn't going from club to club, because back then you were on one club. You didn't cross train. You didn't go out with another club and train. You stuck with your own core people, and sometimes you had roles to play in the cycling club, and those are things that were interesting to kind of go through. And then when I transitioned away from cycling,
it's pretty much like Jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu back in the days, you don't go in different gyms like now.
No.
Now it's normal. People go open mat.
Yeah.
From you guys, from Gracie, from here and there. I'm gonna go open mat.
And even inside our own family, Jiu-jitsu check mat. You didn't leave your coach to go train another check mat. Back, when I started help racing with Mamuch, Barumo, Balista. And it was because of my son. And, Devlin
is the one.
Devlin's the first one. And, Mooch would always make fun of me. When are you going to start? And I said, I still have cycling going on. I still racing bicycle.
Up to what age you cycled professional?
I was still racing a bike up till I was 35, 36 years old.
Was professional racing?
No, I was never on a tour team that got me outside the continent, but we would go to the races and so forth, and try to qualify. It was very similar to where you talk about how you won the state championships to go to the Worlds in Brazil. Well, you would win California and then go to try to get your national license and get selected. It was a hand-picked situation. And then there was Olympics, and there was the World's team, and then there was national teams. But they always cultivated the young teams. It was very, very political. Still is. Like anything else. It has an organization that has a governing body.
Judo is very political.
Yeah.
Judo,
Yeah, I mean, we hear the stories, and I hear them firsthand from Jason. As far as what happened when it became an Olympic sport, and how it really changed the uniform, the culture, the referee, and some of the techniques that have been altered because of it being an Olympic sport. And those are the things that change sports, and sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad. And you got to be willing to accept those changes, because change is constant. It's what we have in our life as human beings, and we try to fight the change, our aging, our things around us. And cycling was similar for me. Was I aged out early, That's what I mean. I started too late. I aged out early to the point where we talked about, I won a world championship today. That does nothing for us. But if a young man and is 18 to 25 wins a world championship in jiu-jitsu, it'll change his life. It'll change their life forever.
Yeah.
And that's the nicest thing to see is somebody as an elder statesman of the sport. For me, I always kind of look back and I see the young culture and the young group cultivating again at headquarters. When you see that, you have inspiration, you have hope for the future because the sport is it's a beautiful sport. It's a martial art that inspires people, whether you're a competitor or, again, training 1 day a week. So the cycling world was interesting back then because I see the similarities today that we have here, and it's going to change over periods of time and evolve. I think the challenge for people that have become before us, because we stand on the shoulders of greats, we do. Leo Vera, Jiva, people that are around me, I stand on your shoulders because you've walked the path and set the path for me. My achievements are your achievements now, but it's also the people that have come with me before you. My coaches from cycling, the things I learned about myself back then. Those are the things that we take along, and I've always said there's a chance that we're making good fighters, but we're not making good martial artists. And those are the challenges that we have to face now that we're aging into a time. We need to leave it better than we found. And that's a challenge to everybody in the sport, because it's one thing to take in life. If you never give back, why are you here? Why do it? And the 3 principles that we've talked about that I lead my life and I really espouse in my children, my men, are faith, family, and service. Faith, I don't care, but you got to believe in something. You believe in something bigger than you. If it's a rock, if it's God, Allah, but believe in something bigger than you because there is something out there.
Yeah.
Service to others. Do it without any expectation of return. Family. My family is my family. I would not have the things I have today without my parents. And I thank my mom and dad every day. I see them. Because of them, I have what I have today. Because of them, I sit here with you today. But I also have my wife. Because of her, man, there's no telling where I would be without her. She has her own goals because she's a competitive athlete still, as we've talked about, and we watched her through time mature, and she's injured right now, and she's struggling through, and she inspires me because she's in the garage, 100-degree weather, she's pushing that weight over her head, taped up wrist, banged up hip, and she's still getting it done. So when I leave,
it's great.
It's what we do. But the faith, the family, the service. The family is the interesting thing because I have the family that I've created with my wife. But I also have the family here in my jiu-jitsu family. The people that I choose to spend time with. And that time, in my mind, is valued because we can't replace it. So when we have the opportunity to...
And neighbors watching.
Oh, boy. Yeah. We talked about him a while back, but he's in a great spot. And, becoming a force of nature is his challenge now.
Punch out then for the badge. Guys, you guys can buy the badge for support. It's like cheap, but always show support is good to feel. Talk like I say, we talk about jiu-jitsu is kind of easy. We know. Of course, nobody has the receipt to oh, you have to do this, have to change for people. Talk today with Vince about Low, for example. Low was he don't diet, he don't. If you see how his life was, he's not straight diet, super he loved to train, but not like Bochecha, for example. Bochecha do everything's ready, and even talk about this on the documentary about Bochecha on the program. He said Bochecha is a little bit more focused than me, but work for him. When you're in the bicycle, how hard, what I have to do daily to get that level? The train, how hard it was compared with jiu-jitsu? Because I have my I trained sports when I was young, but I was never like, I played to like 14 and then work everything. I started just with 20, 21.
We always talk about this, that there's no secrets in training. You've got to go out and put the miles in. You know, when people are at home resting, are you out training? And it doesn't necessarily mean you're logging the miles or doing something extra like conditioning. And back then, it's very similar to what we're coming out of and finding now in Jiu-Jitsu. Everybody just went out and did miles. They just ran their bodies into the red. And then somebody said, okay, we're going to periodize the training. So you'll have the winter come into the get ready, which is January 1. And then you would set goals, like you're going to do, you know, whether you're on the travel squad or you're the local team, you would go out and set the goals of like, okay, we're going to compete at this level and you need to be involved and be part of this team. And you have roles to play. And that usually happened just, you know, based on resume from last year, your CV. So if you won, you know, 5 races last year, you're probably going to be the team sprinter and team leader. But then you also had the different races, because not all of them were flat, not all of them were circuits, not all of them were road races. So some cyclists were specialists. And even today's cycling world, as you know, Tour de France, you have the climbers, you have the time trialists, and you have the sprinters. And then amongst them all, you have everybody else. And that's 1%, 2%, like in Jiu-Jitsu. We have athletes in our world, in our sport, that, you know, they're different. They're different. And they go out and they do the extra work, though. So I do believe that there is those individuals out there that are talented in cycling who don't have to really train that hard. But when
you tell me one story about someone that was training on the New Year's.
Yeah, I was with him. And we were talking, and he happened to be a champion, and we were discussing things that, you know, for the year and having a good time. And it was one of you know, the New Year's ride is kind of like the New Year's training. Okay? Start the New Year all right. You know, that's why our gyms fill up so fast in the New Year's. Everyone wants to have a resolution. Yeah. Everybody's going to start with a new step. Like,
why didn't for 1 week?
Yeah, it lasts for 1 week. But you could do that. You could do that February 3rd. You could do that March 10th. You can do that whenever. But all of a sudden, January 1st, new step. We're going to get it. Come on, you know. But it always was a good goal because your calendar set the goals. Obviously, if you had a team manager and you were part of a team, they would assign you goals. So you had to get in condition. And as you moved up, and if you got paid well, you were expected to show up in clean uniform. You were expected to show up at a certain weight. You were expected with your equipment to be working and functioning. You were responsible for everything. There was nobody there waiting for you. And that's later on in your career, when you already hit that top level, when you would just turn your bike over to somebody and they bring it back to you the next morning. That was later on in life. I never reached that level, but I seen it, and I knew it was special, and that was my goal, because I wanted somebody to take my bike from me at the end of the race, and then the next day bring it back to me. It never happened. But again, what was my goal? To have that happen, or to keep challenging myself to be a better athlete every day? So as a young athlete, I didn't realize that until later on in life, in my late 40s, when my window of opportunity for athletics is starting to shrink. Even at my age now, you know, I have to get through that. I don't have very little time left. It's going to close. There's going to be a time where I can't do this anymore competitively, like I love to do. And cycling was the same thing. Like I said, I was a late starter. Some of these kids that I was racing against had been racing their bicycles since they were 15, competitively. And the national team already looked at them. They're already picking them to go to national events, European events, to go out and represent. So you have a season, and that's what I was always critical of Jiu-Jitsu, is that if you're going to go out and compete, have a goal for the competition. The general goal is you're getting better for the next one. You're going to go out and figure out, and it's something you and I have been going through in the last 2 years with my competitions. Every time you go out, you want to get better at something. And if you don't get better, you got to figure it out. And some of the frustrations that happen in cycling are happening here for me. And, you know, full disclosure, you know, the result is I'm not disappointed with it. It's the amount of work you put in and not get the result. That becomes the challenge.
How did failures. Failures, right? Failures? You fail.
Failure.
Failure motivates you. Why do you?
Oof.
How's your mindset when you have a bad day, like really bad day? Not talk even about competition. Talk about training. You have that day, like you have a lot of this, especially jiu-jitsu. Like some day, like you go on training, you go. One day we make a joke, and I was headquarters. Then Punch was there. Mike was here from Arizona. Was everybody there? Lucas training, and that day, like if you have the words that day, I'll be a world champion. Like man, like I train like good. No, we got there like. And then some days you go there, I have the blue belt having fun with you. Like what the heck? Nothing work. I see like now talk about the aging. When you get old, like my mind thinking the position, but the body didn't answer.
Right.
But taking this off, take it off the age. How you deal with this little failure?
In the 50,000 foot statement is this: life's about disappointment and how you deal with it. There's going to be more failures than there are going to be more successes. And God bless the person that has the perfect record, the 10-0. They're doing something special. They're maybe a special individual. They're there. I've seen them in cycling. I've seen them in jiu-jitsu. They're everywhere. They're in all sports. They're in all business. There's certain people that are able to achieve great things just by being in the room, being present. Don't know why we've not figured this out. And there's people that have written books and everything like that. But how we deal with that failure, because everybody has a setback. Somewhere, sooner or later, there's going to be a setback. Could be an injury. Could be a.
And that's why I put straight on the daily life train, because we have like Khabib never lost a fight.
Perfect example.
We have Hicks, Grace.
Another example.
We have few people in the world that never lost, but in the training they fell. Like Hicks now, his body's messed up. Khabib, I don't know, but I saw him train. He'd have like bad days in training.
Yeah.
When it was like with Leandro, he was there too. So how to deal with this? Because sometimes, like I said, like sometimes when I was white belt, I go train, then get beat up, pop the arm, this, and I go to my mom like, I'm quit, done. I don't go anymore. I pay for get beat up. Said I'm not gonna do this anymore. But then she's like, no, why don't I give up? No, I go again. And with the arm, ice and train.
Yeah.
For the Panams, the one 2005, 6, and 7, I don't have like Christmas, New Year.
Yeah,
nothing.
we talked about that.
But like, man, then say like, where you get the energy for that? Because it's hard.
You put and that's why I call it the sickness, because it doesn't matter. We talked about this after Las Vegas. I'm gonna throw the gi away. I'm gonna curse. My wife's gonna be in the room. We're gonna have a private conversation. She's gonna sit there, and God bless Susie. She listens to me whine and complain and what's wrong, and she knows everything about me because she sees it all. She sees all the things that I try to do to prepare, and she sees the suffering, and she's there for the whole ride, no matter what. And for some reason, I get up every morning and I start my day with the expectation that we're going to change that failure from the day before into something positive. Because if we can't find the positive in our failure, then why are we bothering getting out of bed? And it's really about the attitude, because when I wake up in the morning, I want the devil worrying about, oh God, my feet hit the ground. Oh God, he's up again. What's this guy up to? Because I've been throwing curveballs at him. Something out there has been throwing curveballs at me every day. Every day. Somebody's been throwing at my head, finding out ways to challenge me. But every day I wake up with the understanding that it's a new opportunity to achieve the things I didn't do yesterday. And so when I journal in the mornings, I always write down the things I'm grateful for, and my mantra, and then my thoughts. The first thing is, though, the date. It's a new day. The second thing is, I'm stuck on one mantra that I've had for probably 10 years now in my journaling. Be better than I was today than I was yesterday. And that's my failures. Now, any of my successes that I've had in cycling and successes I've had in jiu-jitsu. I don't really remember those very well. I remember the training because I enjoy training so much. It doesn't matter if it's on a bicycle, in a weight room, on a hot day. We've talked about this. Training extra rounds with you, getting those rounds. I love training, probably more than I like competition. But it's an opportunity to get better, and I think people lose the value in failure, but lose the value in the opportunity that provides us. And the failures that we see every day can be compared to other people's failures, because we always sit there and worry about who's on the other side of the fence. Oh, they got it easier. Oh, they're taller. They got the money. They've got a sponsor. They've got the better bike. They've got the better team. Instead of worrying about who's on the other side of the fence, worry about watering your grass today. Worry about cultivating the energy and the success today that you need to take the next step for tomorrow. Whatever happened yesterday, you can wear it as a. That's the most beautiful thing about sport, is that you can wear that. In cycling, you can wear that world championship for the rest of your life. As long as you have a sponsor, they're going to put that multi-stripe on your collar. It doesn't matter where you go on what team, it follows you. For 1 year after, you wear the multi-band stripes on your chest with your team color. It signifies that you have achieved something absolute. It's like you said, we're going to give the same medal out next year. It's going to change the date. But for some reason, it's going to be written down that my world championship is still happening. You can't take that away. You cannot erase that. But they're going to give that same medal. But that failure that drove me to that achievement is more value to me than the achievement. We talk about how everybody's on the podium. Man, everybody celebrates. Everybody wants to go and train with you the next week. Everybody wants to, maybe take a little bit from you in regards to your knowledge, or what should I do? I've been trying this.
This happened, sorry for interrupting, but this happened with us when we won the team championship in 2021.
Yeah.
We get so many people want to join Checkmate at that time. I don't talk about just individuals, talk about teams. People from other teams want to join. But Leo have a little sense. I said, no. It's not everybody who want to come. We have some people, who I'm not going to say here, but try to come on the team. Can. When it was hard. Like we say, I talked with Leo yesterday about this. And then Nego just won. He beat supposed to be the guy who was almost unbeatable. Now, everybody's a Nego's friend. But who will be when he lost? Because hit the top is not that hard. You stay on top, motivating yourself on top, gonna be hard.
That's when you need to become the force of nature we talk about.
Conor McGregor.
Khabib.
He won the championship. He make a lot of money. What motivates him? What his pride? I have to see what motivates him.
What else is there?
Hard. Yeah.
What else is there? And it's the failure. If the failure doesn't motivate you, then you're probably done with whatever that is. In my book, in my understanding is that if the failure that you had yesterday doesn't get you out of your bed, you got to go find something else to go do. Life's too short.
Man, wake up one day, next day I go, hey, man.
Yeah, and we talk about this every day. In regards to our routine, and I love it, is it's always a smile on our face when we see each other, because I enjoy being around you. You inspire me. You're my mentor. You're my coach. But there's a routine we go through. It's a handshake and a hug of respect and love. But then it's, how's your wrist? How's your back? How's your ribs? We have this, we know that something's wrong. And if I could give you my good knee, because I have bad knees like you, I'd give you one. We'd share. I'd give you my good wrist.
People share. Okay,
we trade like Legos. But you always want to see the people around us that value our journey, we want to see them matriculate up. We want to see them succeed. We want to see them raised to a new level. Because in my book of life experience, you know, with the tide, all boats rise. We're a community, and when one person wins, we all win. That culture, if it's been cultivated correctly, inspires others. Hence, we get the people that want to come and join us, and I think that's a good thing. But we have to take consideration of who we are today, and we just don't want to open our parking lot for new team family members unless it's going to make the team better and stronger, because it has to be a little bit selfish.
It's the only thing that I learned with you. You better have 4 quarters than little ones.
And we continue to grow with our failure. We're going to have failure every day. In cycling, the failures were probably greater there because expectations were much higher. And the expectations sometimes are other people's expectations, not ours. In Jiu-jitsu, we have our own. We're not associated on a pay scale or an expectation of being employed. When you start getting paid as a cyclist, you got a boss. And if you're not at weight, and if you're not at the front of the pace when he tells you you need to be there from the team car, they're going to find somebody else to do it for you. And that's really because I'm telling you right now, just like Major League Baseball, football, the next one's coming. They don't care. Look, I'm sorry you're having a hard time. I'm sorry you hurt your knee. You know, we paid you a lot of money. Or the next person's ready to go. They're coming. They're coming right now. You know, anybody that's a world champion today better be prepared to be a world champion next year, because they're all coming. They may be blue belts. They may be purple belts.
Yeah.
But they're coming because they're inspired by you, the individual that's at the top of the podium. What they don't see, though, and they haven't experienced because they're so young or maybe haven't had the experience yet, underneath the podium, like the iceberg we talk about, they don't see the failure. They don't see the injury. They don't see the heartache, the missing the Christmas from the family. They don't see the things that we have missed because I'm going to get some extra rounds in. I'm going to train differently today. Instead of sleeping in with my wife and enjoying a good breakfast in the morning out in the patio, I'm drilling.
Michael Johnson. Documentary that they talk.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time.
That girl, they're like, oh man, I watched that Canada.
Yeah.
They say like the overnight, 6 years overnight success, because people see like when she, man, look, just,
yeah.
Like people see winning, people see you in the podium, people see you get qualified for the Olympics, but they don't see like the training. That she was training 6 years to get like half second faster, 1 second faster. Like it's crazy. Talk about jiu-jitsu like this, I say like jiu-jitsu exists to talk because I know people like Buchecha. People don't see like in 2019 how he was strong. They say like, oh, Buchecha, look, he make look easy. Yeah, he make look easy, but what's the price he paid for making easy? Because I see him like crying. Mm-hmm. I was with him there training.
Yeah.
The Wednesday before the tournament. Not like, oh my elbow, no, he was crying. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna compete. So, no, you're gonna compete. You have to defend your title. He went there and won. But people just see.
It's like the people that are at the podium and they get that gold medal, Olympics, Jiu-Jitsu World, and they cry. They're not crying because it's the most exciting thing of their life. They're crying because of the journey. The journey that took them from all those things under the podium, under the iceberg. We don't see the things that we struggle with or they struggle with. And part of the beautiful thing about the fight this year with Nego, and you know, it wasn't the championship necessarily that was exciting. And obviously, I think the pyramid showed it was the most exciting thing, because as soon as that match was over,
both sides there.
Hey.
Wow, leading. There is.
Hey, Sailor. Nobody. The place went vacant. The energy was gone. But if you actually stood and looked, and I went back and watched many times, the earlier matches that he had, where his confidence, his swagger, he started building, he started becoming that force of nature he has to become that resilient champion. And it's not something you can coach. It's not something you can teach. It's something you experience that builds over periods of time. And the most beautiful thing that I've seen, yes, him being on the podium, celebrating with his brother, Jonathan, his father, Antonio. You know, those are the things people don't see. Now, I'm sitting in a privileged spot because I get to train with them on Fridays. Not anytime can you go train with the world champion anywhere. Cycling, you can do that. You can ride with them, but sooner or later, they put the next gear on and you're holding on with your teeth and hoping to see them at the corner bakery or the stop. But you can train with the people that you look up to, who inspire you. And for me, the inspiring moment was seeing the story, not just of Nanego, but his brother, where they came from, their journey, Antonio, and knowing about his family and how his sacrifice as a father, as a man, and then seeing the people around him, you know,
actually to is treat like a son. He's like a brother.
That's right. The things you find out.
Really son, like.
Yeah. When I saw them as purple belts, when they came to America, when I first met them, and you saw the evolution of that relationship, and you saw where it is today, it gives me hope. It gives me hope that the sport is evolving into the things that inspires me, and I hope it to be. Because I don't want it to be a fight sport. I don't want it to be a grappling sport like I find sometimes takes our sport the wrong way, and I like to try to separate the two. There's jiu-jitsu and there's grappling. I think with jiu-jitsu, it's the same with cycling. And, you know, you have the local races and then you have the national races. And when you start getting paid to do something, you better show up every day, go to work. And people don't realize that about some of the cyclists that I've raced with, some of the cyclists I've trained with, and some of the cyclists that are doing it today. They're getting paid to do this now. People's like, oh, it's so nice, you get paid for something you love. Really? Really? Okay.
What's the journey?
No, what happens today? You got a photo shoot, you got to be here on time, you got to be trained, you got to be ready to help your team captain before you help yourself. You better be ready to go and get your clean clothes on. You better be, you're getting paid. It's like a job. And you have to still, you have to still love it so much that you're willing to do that job. And as jiu-jitsu, you don't get paid. Like we talked about, why are we doing this? Where's the end goal? It's just, it's the journey. And like I said, I enjoy the training almost more than I enjoy the competition. But I enjoy the competition because of the friendships I've gained from it, all my competitors and the people that have brought me to a higher standard. Without them, I don't have the next step. Without you, I don't have the next step to train with. Like we've talked about. It's just me and you training every day. We just do the same move every day. We don't really evolve our sport. But because we have the opportunity to go out and train and compete and then come back and reset, it's much different because we don't get paid for this. We have sponsors. Some of us are lucky enough to have sponsors. The adult competitors. You know.
But it's like a small part.
But it's a small part.
They can support their lives. And look, I can support my life just with jiu-jitsu.
There it is. Because look at some of the MMA fighters we know, right? They'll get paid 10 grand. They got to pay their camp at least half. Then the tax man shows up.
And then they get paid 10 grand. Like if I like in a good year 4 times, it's 40 grand a year.
And if you live in California, that's a tax.
That's like, man, it's hard.
So you get to the point where, you know, you ask when we talk about, you know, stories from the past from my cycling days. They bleed right over to my jiu-jitsu. And I think that was the easiest transition. Is we say it's easy to talk about jiu-jitsu for you and I, but the cycling is just the same. It's the dedication, the sacrifice, and what we're willing to do, the minimum tax to get into the room. If we don't get into the room with just the minimum effort of showing up on time, being respectful to ourselves, to our training partners, to our coaches.
Talk about the Michelle yesterday. The guy from UFC don't make weight.
Wait.
Really?
Yeah, one job.
It's your job.
It's one job.
Job on the main card, so probably get paid good.
Right. You get to the point where you have to take what you do seriously sooner or later. You know, I always make the comment to some of our young people here, you know, and old people, because it goes to me too, is that, you know, if you don't start making plans, someone's gonna make plans for you.
Yep.
If you don't have the minimum buy-in, which is the sacrifice to say, no, I'm not gonna do that today, or worse, I'm not gonna have that bagel, I'm not gonna have, you know, that beer or whatever it is. There's a minimum tax to get in the room.
You know, like, I know one girl you know too, like she was like that. You wanna eat we got that little,
yeah.
No, I didn't deserve it. I have to want to do it. Then I deserved it. Michelle. Michelle was like her mindset. That's why she's an 8-time world champion. She's the ADCC champion. She fight MMA, and I think she lost 2 times only. But she also fight for the title. She lost, but she fight for the title.
Yeah.
So her mindset, like, you know.
I got a story for you on that one, personal. So Susie and I, as it says, Susie, we've been married 33 years. And she's seen my football career, she's seen my cycling career, I've seen her soccer career, I've seen her triathlon.
Actually, I come for the shirt.
Yeah, there you go, a little respect. Season starts August 11th, here we go, Aston Villa, let's go the Villains.
Just the fun fact, I didn't know, like, we have they call here, we hooligans. I didn't know that the Aston Villa, the first one. I didn't know that. Good.
So we have this, I had this thing where I had a horrible sweet tooth. I love baked goods. But one of the things I will binge on is ding dongs. They're come in a box, and they're wrapped like they're basically a cake in chocolate. It's got all the worst things for you.
You never bring to me.
There's a reason why.
Thank you.
There's a reason why.
Thank you.
The reason why is in order for me to have one, I have to win a world championship first. Until then, I don't have those.
Have one in Las Vegas as well?
No.
No?
I had one, the last time I had one was when I had my
No, have the, who make this?
Hostess cupcakes.
Hostess cupcakes?
Yeah. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Okay.
You go right here to the corner bake or the corner liquor store, you buy a pack of 2.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
no,
they're everywhere.
For Las Vegas.
Yeah. I look at them and I'm like, damn, I really want one. Every time we go shopping, Susie and I, because we shop twice a week for our food and, you know, meal prep and so forth. And I look at it, she's like, I'm a world champion. But the thing is that you'll have it for that moment. But as soon as you step off that podium, you have to have that for a moment. The next day, you're getting ready for the next one. But you don't get to have it all the time. Just because you hit that goal, that one goal.
Yeah, that's what I tell people, like, after win the world title, for example, for us, for Master World. After win the world, that's a pass already. As soon as you step out the podium, that's a pass. Done. Yeah, I want to have to start looking again because for sure, again, like, the second place, the third place, we're not training harder for Q next year.
Yeah.
They're not training hard for like after you step out, it's better you put your butt to train.
It's the best thing for your psyche. It's the best thing for your life because, you know, Paul, the guy I lost to a couple of years ago, Paul Nava, great guy. He's a great man, and I enjoy his company.
Don't feel loud.
And it is, but for 5 minutes we hate each other.
Yeah.
We want to win, and we respect each other. But like you said, I stepped on that podium, and I was number 2 that year. And you know, I'm looking up at him. You know, he's got a few more than I do. He's got a few more stripes than I do. But you know, this is the next year. I'm coming.
Have next year.
And that's the most beautiful thing about our sport. There's not maybe next year, but there's the next day to train together. It's next Friday to train. There's the next opportunity to get better. And if you don't look at life's failures as we were originally talking about, and having those failures every day. So today's a new day. You get to redo it again. If you don't have that optimism in life, good luck. You're going to be miserable for a very long time, or whatever short time you have left, because that's the crazy thing about cycling and jiu-jitsu. That same failure that occurs naturally happens everywhere. I think it happens no matter what sport it is, because you look at the NFL, you look at professional soccer, you look at jiu-jitsu, you look at cycling. I don't care what sport. the people at the very, very top, they're the 1%ers. So they actually have the physical ability to get them in the room. They may have not done the work yet, but they're doing the work to keep them up there. Everybody else is just regular mortals. They're doing all the extra stuff. They're doing all the extra conditioning and the strength and the sleep and all the different medicines that you might want to get into you to make you resilient. There's no guarantees. I've known.
Like, we talk about this like a lot of times lately because David, like I said, like, look, you can put all the work, diet, everything, the extra time, and guess what?
There's no guarantees.
The best thing you can do is do your best to try to get there. Then if you get there or not, you're gonna be like, of course you're gonna be, if you don't get, like, gonna be pissed for a little bit, but then like, I did it. Everything was in my hand to be there. But,
we talked about this. I need to do everything today to at least not guarantee, but to maybe just check the box that we did that. I've known 3 professional athletes personally. I knew this one kid, and he got a minor league contract to throw a baseball for a living. He was a pitcher. Man, high school, college, just lit up the radar. I mean, he had a fabulous curveball, and it was a hammer. It would just come off the table, he would say. And I can watch 9 innings of baseball and not blink. My wife thinks I'm crazy. I watch 9 innings. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. I can watch 9 innings of baseball in the stadium, and I'll just watch the culture and the people. Not in the stand, but I'll watch the players.
You know, I hate baseball.
Yeah. I love it.
I went to freaking Dodgers game 2 times, and I said, like, you watching to be like, oh, bang! Man, they take all night long, don't hit the freaking ball. Then I started to understand why they eat hot dogs and drink beer all night. Oh, I have to get drunk if you want this.
Yeah.
Man, like,
but the baseball player that I'm talking about, I watched him get ready for the season. I watched him go through the struggle of the season. He wasn't even close to making the starting team at single A. I mean, that's not even like, that's minor. You're still washing your own clothes. But he slept okay at night when his contract was up. Because in his mind, he knew when he put his head on the pillow, as I always say, did you do everything today to possibly guarantee the success for tomorrow? He did. He ate the right things. He threw the right pitches or practice. He did the right cardio, strength and conditioning. He did he had everything. There was still no guarantees. So I always say to our young competitors, our young people that ask for, what do I need to do? Is what are you willing to sacrifice for today for tomorrow's success? It's the things that we already know. And I think part of the challenge as a parent for me, because I raised men, my beautiful boys, I still call them my babies.
my mom called her baby.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is that, they're all different. They all have different goals. They all have different expectations. And they all have what I hope is the same drive to success. And it's challenging nowadays, but I think if we get back to some basics and those failures that we all see, instead of saying, it's going to be okay, we give them a trophy like Asa. No. It sucked. You messed up. This is what you need to do. And guess what? This is what we're going to do tomorrow. But what are you willing to do today? Like you said, you got off on the podium and you're number 2. What are you willing to do today, tomorrow, to be ready for the next championship? Because that may take a staggering sacrifice for the next step. Because every sacrifice could be small. Some are just monumental. We talked about Marcus Bushesha. He had the knee injury. Man, most people the next year, we wrote them off.
Most people.
They don't come back.
Even him, like what I can do, how I can do,
Right? So there's a special individual who had to make a monumental sacrifice. What are you willing to do today to get you to the next step?
Talk about like, you know, like, I'm super fan of Lele, of course, you know, like, but Tiny, you know, follow him, you sort of see like how his mindset, the kid's not a joke. He was with 12 years old, bring his food to school. He said like, I don't even know how to diet right properly, like calories. But he's like, oh, I see that guy there. Then I look it up.
There you go.
Nutrition of eating rice and chicken.
That's what I'm doing today.
And the 12 years old, we have kids class here, 12 years old. He was bringing the food to school.
Yeah.
And open, everybody get a snack and Coca-Cola. He's eating right.
Yeah.
Since 12 years old, people make joke, make fun of him because he opened the smelly bread, you know, bread. And he's like, I don't care. I'm gonna look forward and hit my goals. And then today, people see Taina. Oh, I wanna do a gator roll like him. Look at that effort. Like, he's doing this for years. He don't start today. He's 22. He's 10 years. And he like get the black belt. He got the first stripe, I think. So 3 years. So it's at least 7 years for the hard work. For people know him now. How many people put this work? How many people like, oh, but I want that. Oh man, I'm gonna drink this Coca-Cola. How many people like, oh, I wanna eat these French fries? How much you have to sacrifice? How much? It's not everybody ready to pay the price. That's a conversation I had a couple years ago with Vince. He said like, but man, you can be featherweight and fight the master wars and like do good. I said no, it's too hard for me. Like, I said, come on. I said, Vince, I did better than this, but that was my goal. That was like what I want, and I get whatever I conquer. I conquer. I get the Panams, I get the second place at the Master Wars no gi, and that's it. Of course I want to win gi, but I'm gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't want to sacrifice everything. Like, man, I was miserable to make feather. Unlike today, I don't want to pay the price anymore.
My training partner and Vince would cut weight for Worlds and Pans. And you know me, I can't cut weight unless I'm 4 pounds under. I can't. I don't feel good. It's like a nightmare to me. But my craziness starts when these two kids, my training partner, who's my age, Jeff, he no longer trains, I wish he would, and Vince would cut weight in my jacuzzi. They were making weight by like 0.1, 0.2, half a pound. I'm getting right now. My hands are sweating. I'm getting a knot on my stomach just from that experience watching them. And they'd be like beached whales or beach seals hanging over off the top of my jacuzzi into the pool with their hands in the cold water, sweating that last kilo off or that last pound off. I'm like, you guys could have cut weight like a month ago. No. And why? And we'll go a little further in that. But why make that first fight the scale? We talked about just compete and train it, but with a strategy. But man, that whole thing is, what are you willing to sacrifice today to be successful tomorrow? And going back to Tynan and Nego too. I don't know his journey as well as I know some. I can see what's happening. I hear what happened, but it's the same. It's the same story of any champion.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's Michael Johnson. It doesn't matter if it's Lance Armstrong. It doesn't matter if it's, Drew Brees, football player, or Grealish. These are names of athletes that are at the highest level, the 1%. But if you look hard enough, you'll start seeing a common trait of sacrifice for tomorrow's success.
Kobe Bryant, I go train at 5 a.m. every day. Mike Tyson, they're gonna run 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And they say like, if I know someone go at 5, I'm gonna start 4. If I know someone go at 4, I'm gonna not sleep. I'm gonna train more than that.
Yeah.
The
story you were asking about earlier, which was January 1. We're out riding our bikes early morning, 9 a.m. You see all the drunks. We're on PCH. We still had those giant flip phones, the the Nokia that flipped open, the brown, it made your jersey hang down past your butt because it was so heavy.
You put it that shirt like
that. Yeah, exactly. Well, this guy had one in his shirt and his phone's ringing. Is that your phone ringing? Because yeah. I go, who the hell's calling you on your bicycle? Because I know who it is. Opens it up. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, Happy New Year. He goes, what are you doing? He goes, I'm riding my bike. Here, talk to Vince. He goes, you're riding your bike too? He says, yeah. Get back to my partner and he's like, what are you willing to do today? Because when everybody else is taking care of their hangover, or taking care of whatever nonsense happened the night before, I'm getting some extra miles. It may be one more mile than you had last year, but that one more mile might be the one more mile that wins you that championship, wins you that race. That's the role we talk about. And I always talk about two things when you train hard. Leave one roll in the bag. If you're out there training hard on the mat, at least leave one in you that will be for tomorrow.
You know what they say, like every morning you have a chance to keep sleeping, dream on your goals, or wake up and you know, chase them. Like
So you leave that one roll and you left, and you may be just like you said, it might be a bad train day, might be a good train day.
And everybody has.
But everybody has to. But leave it so that you don't have a concern for tomorrow. Did you do everything today? Because it's an easy answer. It really is. Because when you put your head on the pillow, and I tell the boys this, you put your head on the pillow at night, the only person that knows is you. The only person that should be mad is you.
That I went, I said, I'm gonna compete, I'm gonna win this and that. I know I didn't put the work. When I lost, like, man, it's terrible feeling. Man, it's terrible. Like, you know we don't put the work. Like,
that was our conversation.
You don't deserve that.
That was our conversation in Las Vegas a month ago. Man, that was you and I having a conversation. What are you willing to do to be a champion? What are you willing to do sacrifice today? Oh, you know, my skills gotten better. Oh, so is everybody else's. Guess what? Everybody wants to be a master champion now. Guess what? Those guys have been black belts longer than I've been doing jiu-jitsu. Guess what? What gives me the right that I deserve it more than they do?
Like I said, like the 2 years ago when, last year when me and Leo playing, like we both signed up, but both get injured.
Yeah.
Well, you know, our division was Shaolin, Cicero, was all these guys. Like when I start training, Leo was a black belt already, Shaolin was a black belt already, Cicero was purple belt. Like, man, all these guys. Like, let's go. You know, I have to pay the price. Let's see who wants more.
It's the weirdest thing is that, you know, we get this journey and it's a funnel, right? So you have a funnel and at the very bottom you got the spout. Like anything else, you get everybody at the top. Everybody's floating around, and as it gets closer and closer to the bottom, that spout gets narrow and tight. Yeah. There's only so many opportunities in that spout. There's only so many people can get through that door. Again, like I said, I have a window of training. As I get older, that window's starting to close. I have to get through it quickly because that window's closing on me. But
that's the truth.
Everybody gets to that spout sooner or later, and that little drop of success. Who's that's going to be? Because it can be anybody's. Because everybody's in that experience. Everybody starts at white belt. Everybody loses. Everybody has a tournament win. Everybody has a championship. Whatever. Everybody goes through the same experience.
Yeah.
But who's willing to make that next? It's like we were talking about our young athletes here. What are those individuals willing to sacrifice today? Are they willing to give up that Hostess Ding Dong? Are they willing to give up that C's candy? My wife, the sickness we have is for C's candy. I'm gonna tell you right now. What are you willing to do today? And in cycling, what is it you're willing to do today? Are you willing to put the extra mile in? Are you going to get the extra roll on some Jiu-jitsu? Are you willing to have no carbs in regard to complex bread, rice? Are you willing to go without? Because those are what it takes. And if you're okay with being in the room, I'm fine. That's your goal. You know.
Being the table is a different story.
But don't have the expectation of winning everything and being all that you want to be. You know, as the old saying goes, you know, you can be anything you want. but you can't be everything you want. So something along the line, you have to make that sacrifice so you can be that one thing you want to be. It's a choice, and I think that's the problem with the young people I've had in my life, is that there's too many people telling them you can be everything, instead of saying, no, you need to pick something, and you need to be really good at it. You need exceptional, not perfect, but you need to be exceptional at it. And that's a challenge for most people at this day and age, because there's so many things coming at it. Everything you turn around on Instagram and magazines.
I try to remember who say that. I don't remember, like, what's these days, but he said, like, this generation is the easiest one for you to get, like, become a superstar, because everybody's soft. If you go back in the 80s for bodybuilding, what's some bodybuilders say? Or 90s for the basket players. Like, look at this golden era. You have to go like a freaking Jordan. You have to be like a freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger or Ronnie Coleman. You see the shapes, they're like, what the? They say like it's the golden era for a reason. You know, like all the shapes that time was better than the shapes now. Because they put the time. When you don't watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger, I watch it. He's not content with the second place. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be an actor. So, no. I want to be a star.
I want to be a leading. I want to be a leading man.
He goes straight for the government. You know, no, I don't want to be a mayor. I want to be a government.
Yeah, it's funny you say, because one of the things that Stallone was saying about being an action hero, and this is all fluff and Hollywood. And it's not reality. So I'm getting. He says, when anybody could be a superhero, when anybody could be an action hero, was because now they created the bodysuit, so it looks like you had abs and a chest. Michael Keaton could be a superhero, but guess what? Arnold Schwarzenegger was already built that way.
Yeah.
When they did Conan, he already looked the part. Nobody could do that. Back then there was no CGI. There was no, you had to look the part. You had to put the work in to get to looking like that. Yeah. And then God love him. He's genetically gifted.
And this guy say oh, and this generation is one of the easiest generation for you to become wherever you want, first place, because they're soft. I think it is like when we train Lucas, a Gallon, Upland, we have 2 mats there, divide, like we finished the training for this, like right after finish the training, in the same room. Was me, Bochecha, Nil, Lucas, Lapela, Finfo, you name it, Baiano, Palito, you name it was there. Cavaca at the time. When we finished the training, you look, everybody was laying down, take like 10 minutes to recover.
Yeah.
Today I see like people finish the training, gonna do TikTok dance. It's like, really? I have one thing happen at the gym one time, and the guy said like, oh, I'm not gonna train, I'm gonna overtrain. It's like, why do you overtrain? Oh yeah, I feel like I'm overtraining. And this was C.T. Fletcher say, yeah. It's not fucking overtraining. Why overtrain? Like, that don't exist. Go and do your work. And that's true. It's all mental. You can break or not. Of course, and sometimes you have to rest. And sometimes like you go too hard and then just break. We had this like with Thiago, because Lucas is a maniac for training.
Yeah.
Lucas
he loves training.
I never see someone train like Lucas.
He loves to train.
All the time Jiu-jítsu. But everybody can go with him. And then one time I see Thiago stop break, I see like some other people like, it's fault. Okay, they will take a couple of days and go back. Yeah. But people was there sitting, why not rolling? Oh, I'm getting overtrained. Excuse me. Then I say, I talk with Pancho and Aldo, my good friends, like, that's why you're never gonna be with you.
What are you willing to do today? It's crazy because, in going back to what I was saying earlier in the cycling days, you didn't have knowledge accessible. You had to join a team and hope you had a good coach, or you hope that the coach stayed, or you hope they paid him. And you had to go look for that one person to help you. Man, in today's world, between nutritional advice, between strength and conditioning, you can jump gym to jump gym. You could get success and write your own recipe today.
And have everything for free. If you really want to look, everything for free.
Yeah.
You can see whatever you want for free. Oh, but I don't have money to pay. Like, have for free. I give like, look, go on this website or go this video on YouTube. Just in YouTube, if you go like check like specific training for
There you go.
this thing, they have that.
And it's funny because the two things that happens from that. One, when they don't see the immediate success because they get the immediate response. When they don't see the immediate, oh, this is not working. This is crap. This guy's a donkey. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's because it's definitely not me. I'm doing it. You know, I'll speak to the ego in a minute, but my problem is again, people say they, you know, that adage that Michael Johnson was saying. She didn't. It took her 4 years to take 9 seconds off. I think it was.
Yeah,
this athlete. It was something
exactly.
of that nature. It took her 4 years. It took Marcus how long before he won his world championship? He didn't win world championships at color belts.
You win, but when he got the black belt, like everybody's like, oh, you're gonna be like he lost.
Yeah.
Submitted by Rodolfo. Yeah. The work.
Okay. They're working. So what are you willing to sacrifice today? So to say that I can't or I don't have, there's so many opportunities for success between books on how to be fitter, how to be stronger, how to sleep better, how to not have anxiety. There's knowledge out there on every shelf of every Amazon Prime, whatever you want to call it, Barnes and Noble. You can find it. You just got to put the work in to go find it. But then the more important thing, give yourself some grace. You think a world champion happens overnight just because you read a book and eat the right thing and read the right thing on the internet and your coach is a world champion? Just because you sit at the desk with him, that gives you the right to think you're a world champion tomorrow? Come on, please. There's an opportunity for everybody, but you still have to put the work in just like everybody else. Back in the day, to become a master of something, mason, a master carpenter, you know how long it took an apprenticeship? It took 7 to 10 years before he said, here, I'm going to give you the trowel now. Go ahead and make a one. Before he'd give you that, he'd say, you need to learn to mix the combo. Japanese culture is beautiful. They teach that the same thing. You want to be a chef or something. No. Go wash some dishes first.
Yeah.
When I have an opportunity, maybe I'll teach you. And
it's be in the front line like right away.
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody wants to be right next to the master coach. We see it at headquarters.
I said one thing was stand-up comedy, and the guy from Brazil said like, yeah, because this generation now, you guys have the smartphones, you guys take a picture. Back in the days, we have we have to send the pictures to review. They said, yeah, we take a camera and take a picture, and then we need like 7 days. We have this. Normally it was like 30 days, then they have 7 days, then later on they come out 1 day, and then more recently like 1 hour revelation for the pictures, and then he say like, and these need patience. Oh, I'm gonna explain to you what patient is because you guys don't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is right now.
Yeah. And you would take the film, get your camera, take a bunch of pictures. I remember this.
And then you cross our fingers till the pictures come good.
Oh,
because half burnt.
If your camera was bad, or the light was bad, or somebody blinked, or there was no touch up on
it. No. You have to wait like 7 days.
7 days. You get it back. You go into
free,
and you're like.
And that's your friend come from Europe for one time every 5 years.
And like, all the pictures, everybody's mouths open or their eyes are shut. And you're like, this would have been a great picture of, blah, blah. Again, give yourself grace. Be patient with yourself. Show that you're interested in your own success by giving yourself the ability to succeed and fail and succeed. Go back and forth. And that's what's missing, I think. And going back to some of the things that we all get caught up in. The loudest voice in my room for success, the room I'm trying to get into, is my ego. My ego is the loudest voice, but it's also blocking out so many other voices that matter. My professor, my wife, my other coaches. My ego's in the room. I can't hear them. And I was telling Susie the other day, if you stop long enough and really stop, you realize the universe is trying to give you everything you want. He really is. The universe is trying, if we're walking the path and putting the minimum work in to be present, the universe wants to see us succeed. But sometimes the biggest obstacles are ego. Oh, I need to be the champion. I'm the champion today. I need to be a champion today. And if we can't put that to a side and enjoy the beat down, the tough days, the failures of training, the losses in competition, if you cannot put that behind you, because we see it happen more. I see it happen more often than not.
More, yeah, for sure.
Where people want to come in and, man, they want to be, you know, the master instructor's best friend because he's the champion.
People are like, oh, like, but you win that, yeah, but it's like, look, every medal is not first place medal. It's something I lost, some fight I lost.
Yeah.
Third place, and have way more than don't even get the medal. Have like way more competitions that don't even get the lost the first round, second round.
Yeah.
Like have way more. What am I gonna do? Cry and no, let's do the work and do. But like I said, this generation is the instant generation.
I think it's good.
Everything is like
I think it's changing.
Like how like
Instant gratification.
the lamen you buy in the supermarket 3 minutes then ready to go. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
You have to cook that thing. You have to cook.
Yeah.
If you want something like right away, that thing not gonna taste so good.
Yeah. It's you want that instant. You want to be able to go through the drive-through and get your coffee.
Yeah.
God forbid that coffee's not right. Oh my God, what a terrible thing. What do? You go back in there, you slam it on the counter. That poor person making minimum wage, because I don't care. I'm just trying to get through this day. And you're upset because your latte's not right. Look, you know, everybody, we see people come through our academies, and I'm not talking about Checkmount, I'm talking about all our academies, because we have friends that own their own academies and they're not Checkmount. But we all know the same individual that kind of rotates through. They're looking for that instant success. But if they ever really stop and let their ego stay in the other room and take the time to say, I'm going to spend some time on me here. I really feel that person has a game I want to emulate. And part of my problem in cycling is that I always thought I was somebody else than what I really was. I'm the same size I am today than I was cycling. I'm not going up any hill fast like anybody else I knew. I had this one teammate, Brian Butler. He was about 6'2", 6'3", had maybe 150 pounds with 2 bagels in his back jersey. He could climb with the Russians, and he had his VO2 max was probably in the 80s. Mine was still in the 70s. That was good. Man, he could just go for days. I thought I was like him though. Who in the hell didn't stop to tell me that I wasn't a climber? And nobody had the balls to tell the angry little ball I hate, Vincent Perez, hey buddy, come here. You want to ride for our team? Okay. This is what you're going to have to do. You're never going to be that climber. You're never going to be the sprinter. You are what you are. And if you're good with that, you have a good career. You have an enjoyable career.
And that's what makes me like sometimes like a bad cop, because I know how to sugarcoat anybody. You know, I have people here like we went to the worst this year. So look, you're not gonna win. And the dad say like, oh, I believe him. So you can believe whatever you want. It's about the time. The kids there.
They were nice.
And,
but we were in I think we're either the Coors Classic in the state of California or Tour of Bakersfield or some crazy race in Baker. I don't remember. We had the team bus and we had all the different things happening. You know, everybody had the same uniform on. You know, we had the crazy coach who went to jail and all the all the stories that make the event perfect, right? And we were staying at the Lion Inn. I remember this. And again, we had, before the race, you get up and do like maybe an hour ride, just get your legs warm, get your body activated. And nobody could find a team mascot, which was our mechanic. And this guy, I tell you, he never ever sugarcoated it. He was a lot of vinegar, no honey. He would just tell you, the reason you suck? Because you eat ice cream. You know the reason you suck? because you don't go to sleep. You know the reason you suck? Because you're fat. Okay.
Tell the truth for people. The truth sometimes hurt.
Right. So he was this big lumpy guy, and you would just look at him like, what the hell do you know? Clean your bike. I know everything. I know all these racers. I've seen you come and go. The next guy's waiting for you to replace you, so shut up. So we're getting ready to start the line, and I can't find my team leader. I'm trying to remember his name. We used to call him Tar Noble.
What's Tar Noble?
Tar Noble we called him Tar Noble because his first name was Terry, but it didn't matter what race you're at. He'd get to the last lap and he'd blow up like Char Noble. So we just call him Tar Noble because he would just run it out hard. I mean, 35, and he would just blow it up, and then he was done. Training was just, he was an incredible training partner because he just drove hard. Couldn't find him. Well, when you have stage races, you know, you have 3 or 4 days. He went to the next day starting.
Pardon me?
So today we started at downtown, I think it was, University of Bakersfield. We started on the campus. He went to the time trial start, and nobody was there.
Because everybody was here.
Yeah. And I'm looking around like, where the hell is this guy? Wait a minute. After the race is over, he comes up and says, I was at the wrong start.
I said, no, not the wrong start. You're at the wrong place. The start is this one, the right start. You're at the wrong place, not the wrong start. We don't start from there, like,
Yeah. And Jiu-jitsu for me, the best thing about Jiu-jitsu, and I've got so many great memories from Jiu-jitsu, and I think that speaks for itself. But you know, I think the one that really sticks with me every day is that I've had the opportunity to train with you and Leo and Marcus and a couple other people. But being in the room with my sons to train with them every day, and Devlin, Liam, Vincent, and then the children I've gained from training Jiu-Jitsu. There's been days where I've had all three with me, and I think you've seen it, and those are my best days. And those are few and far between now because they are adults now and they've got their life going in directions that they're going, and their journey has started. But when I had all three of them with me in the car going to health racing, the mopiness on the way in, school sucks, I got a report to do, you know, the young adult, the young teenager in high school routine, and then on the way back, oh, that guy at the triangle, oh, I tapped you out, you know. Yeah, that's the best part about my jiu-jitsu journey is having, I always make the comment of, I had the opportunity to train with my sons, all three of them. I knew who they were with, I knew what they were doing, and I got to do it with them. That's pretty special to me because how many parents go to Little League practice and soccer practice and you know, I'm going to jiu-jitsu practice and my son's taking his daughters to gymnastics instead of him going to jiu-jitsu. I have the blessings beyond what I should expect because I've had the ability to see my sons grow up in a room where there was individuals who may not have known has set a path for them that there's no way to get that. You can't buy it. You know, I can't buy the relationship we have. It's been formed over the years. It feels like yesterday I met you. But how many years have I been with you since Purple?
Over a long time.
So when you opened up the original,
14 years.
So that's how long we've been together. Seems like yesterday. Now, we've seen each other grow, we've seen each other suffer, we've seen each other struggle, we've seen each other prosper. It's that part of the journey that I appreciate. Again, what do I love about Jiu-Jitsu? It's our relationship. It's the family I've created. And when I journal, what am I grateful for? My Jiu-Jitsu family. The family I've created. The family I've cultivated. I don't pretend it's easy. or I don't have, you know, he just buy it anywhere. You can just go to another club. No. The people that I left when I left Health Gracie, which hurt my family, and still are. I still talk to Bruno. Still talk to Angela, his mother, are still good friends with my wife. That's family, and it's the family you choose. And I can't choose my blood. I can't choose my sister. I can't choose my parents. I can't choose my brother. That's already our program. But I have an opportunity to choose and cultivate the family that I want. And it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu for anybody. It can be anything you want it to be. You know, work. You know, find a place that you can, you know, you can reach professional expectations there. Find a club. You know, it doesn't matter. But find like-minded individuals who inspire you to be better. I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of those individuals in my life here at Jiu-Jitsu. Like I stated, you, Joao, Leo, Bruno. I've had access to Jason Hunt, who's a dear friend of mine, outside of Jiu-Jitsu. And how we got to know each other? We met each other at a seminar on his blue belt. I had no idea that we were going to be what I consider best friends. You know, he fixes a lot of things for me he doesn't even know, with just him saying, because he's the internal optimist in my book. But I've also had other people in my life that have done stupid things in jiu-jitsu. So it's also, you got to take those relationships and say to yourself, that's not how it should be. And you leave it better.
Então, I was talking with Renatão, and then at the podcast, and he said, like, man, your students are nice, most of them, like, man, I don't see anybody like this bad. I said, Renatão, it's natural selection. People that are like piece of crap, they're not gonna stay here. They leave. And I see like few people who come and train for 1 or 2 months, left. They left. They don't stay. And they go. This is the one thing I'm proud of. Like we have a good
good
family environment like this. Like,
but it's a jiu-jitsu family, and we respect each other. There's a good family culture.
And people don't understand. If they don't train, they don't understand how jiu-jitsu is. Jiu-jitsu is different. No, jiu-jitsu.
You can't tell people that.
Mr. Garcia, for example, he did martial arts all his life.
Yeah.
66. He did his black belt in Taekwondo, his black belt in Muay Thai, his black belt in this. As soon as he started jiu-jitsu, he stopped everything. He said, like, this is different. I never did anything insane. For me too, like I did karate like for a few months when I was 9 years old. I did judo. I love judo, but there's a lot of injuries. I did judo for a couple years, and now with jiu-jitsu is different. I cannot see myself without jiu-jitsu. It's hard.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way, and it's really interesting to say that because, you know, there's a black belt friend of mine, LeBron, great individual, great human being, great parent, great father, great black belt. Every year, it seems like he will send me a picture of my last day at Health Gracie before we moved to a new facility. And there was a group of 4 people, man, and it's always a recollection of fondness in regards to, man, look at that, that was a great core, and there was a good core there. And I found that core that we have here there too. And you know, I wish it was that way. I do. But that should be the inspiration to create your next community, that next group of people in my book, because you have the opportunity every day to create that, whether it's with your own family or here in jiu-jitsu or whatever you do. But do something with an expectation of leaving it better than others, but also do it with some excellence in direction. Be excellent at what you do. Not perfect, because nobody's perfect. But be excellent in your mindset, and be excellent in your attitude, be excellent in your execution of, I make a commitment, I'm going to be here at 1 o'clock to sit with you and talk to you. Absolutely. I'm honored to do that with you. I'm glad that you asked me.
Because I was scared to ask.
And that's the craziest thing is,
no.
I scare most people. I scare most people, but I have a hard time believing you can't ask me for something. And you know I would say yes to you. More the joy of the time, if I'm in the zip code, I'm going to say yes to you.
And that time, like, I asked Ronnie, of course Ronnie was great talking to him too. But then like, even like when Dad looks at gracias, please. Hey Ron, you want to come here Saturday again? I was like, no.
It's one of those things that I have a firm belief in service to others. I want to reach back and bring people with me. I believe that, and I've tried to bring my friends to Jiu-jitsu. I have. It's not for everybody. It's not, and I know that.
People come with that thing like, oh, Jiu-jitsu for everyone.
No.
Yeah, Jiu-jitsu is for everyone, but it's not everyone for Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, again, you can be anything you want, but you can't be everything.
No, it's not like some people just cannot hold. Period. Like, man, hands out, like they can all get a beat and go home and sleep. Like, the ego's too big. Like, man, you see so many people get hurt because of this.
But that's the individual needs it the most. The ones with that ego, and it's, you said it. In Jiu-Jitsu, there's training. There's a self-leveling. There's a self-leveling natural current. Like, it's a tribe. It levels out on its own. You're always going to have the apex hunter, the apex athlete, the top, whatever you want to call it. It's self-leveling. And everybody's going to always want to try to pull them down to, grab a little bit of, and just give them a yank. It's beautiful. It's a natural occurrence. And I think that's what gives me hope about, I think now people are realizing, you can't just sign up for a yoga class and show up and be fit. You can't just sign up for jiu-jitsu. You can't just sign up for 24-hour fitness. Yes, you got to put the work in. And I think that's coming out more and more now that, look, you want to be this, you want to have a beach body and, it doesn't show up tomorrow. You can't go surgery. It's dangerous. Everybody wants a certain thing. I want to be 6'3" and play for the Lakers. It's not going to happen. Yeah, maybe in my next life. Yeah, maybe. But here's the thing. If I look at it this way, maybe I go back to school, get my MBA, decide that I'm going to be a sports management, and I work for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay. There's always ways to get to a spot of a goal. It may not be the goal you want, because Mother Nature has a terrible habit of, she's undefeated. The only two things in life that are undefeated: Mother Nature, Father Time. They win every day. If you don't think so, I dare you to tell me the difference. Because I'm telling you right now, you cannot fight what's naturally occurring, but you can play with the naturally occurring things that, like I said, it may not start for the point guard for the Lakers, but I can be in the room when they make the decisions to draft the next guard, if I choose to be that life. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to be somebody that plays Barambola.
Exactly.
I enjoy turning my neck to the left to check my mirrors before I turn. I don't want to be turning my body, but I do know I can play a certain game in a certain way that makes me a technical athlete.
Fun fact: one time was at someone's seminar, and then have a friend of us. He's like my age. And like, it's being bored at this position. And he's like, man, don't do it. Like, he go, pop, pull the neck. I ain't gonna move. I say that. The thing. Uncle Vince, what is your 3 favorite books that help you with the professional career, like athletic career?
Man. Recent one, Peter Attia. He just wrote a book. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it, and I actually put a bunch of books down because of it. But he talks about aging. Peter Attia's new book. Title, I can't think of the name of it. But he's a doctor. He lives in Texas. He's interested in the aging body and how to get the most out of it. And I kind of made a goal beginning of the year, and I told my wife, I go, my goal now is to be a centenarian. I want to be 100 years old. Obviously, we've got to do certain things, and he said something beautiful. Genetics loads the gun, environment pulls the trigger.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so if my environment's clean and healthy, as far as living and food and diet, and exercise, I've got a chance. I mean, there's going to be certain things that genetically I can't get past. I've got cancer in my family, blah, 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 hypothyroid, you know, those things. But if I catch it early enough and go to the doctors regularly and take care of myself, yeah, you know, we're going to be hurt. We're always hurt in jiu-jitsu. Injuries are different. But if I can just mitigate some of the hurt and be disciplined and listen to my coach, because you're usually the one that speaks the loudest to me and I have to listen to because you're looking out the best thing of value to me.
Sometimes you talk a lot of crap.
But inside that crap is some truth. And you have to realize that nothing you hear is personal. Everything you hear, you make it personal. Don't make it personal. Listen. Don't respond. And then think about it. And then if I got a problem with it tomorrow, I'll talk to you about it. 99% of the time, I'm like, I don't like the delivery, but it's truth.
A lot of times, like I tell people, like, look, the time I stop screaming at you, stop, like, then the time I don't care about you anymore. Make jokes of you, like, you know, like I have heavy jokes, you know. Like I say, like someday, one of the students gonna come with a gun and kill me, or put a knife on me, because of the jokes I do. But the day I stop doing this is the day I don't care about you anymore. So even talking the truth, like I know sometimes hurt for some people. You say something like, man, gonna hurt, but I'm not gonna lie.
The second book I enjoy reading, and I read it often, is Paulo Coelho. He does The Alchemist. He wrote The Alchemist about.
You know, like everybody, this one the most bestseller in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I never read.
It's a book I've read probably once a year. Nobody knows this, but I read that book regularly. I don't even think Susie knows this. I read it regularly. I kind of hide when I read books too, because I'm a little embarrassed of books I read. You know.
No, this book, like everybody say, I never read.
Yeah.
It's a Brazilian guy. It's like never read.
Yeah.
I have to do that. This I have to put in my list.
The next one that I find fascinating is a book by T-Rex, Theodore Roosevelt, was president of the United States. And, you know, his journey from being wealthy during the, you know, late 1800s, early 1900s, he did jiu-jitsu in the White House. So, I've read him and I've studied his biography, I don't know how many times, through high school and college. I've always been attracted because he did a few things that I really admire to this day. One, he created national parks. So the United States has national parks. He created them. He felt to preserve the natural beauty of America was his responsibility because of the things he's seen and experienced in life. He had been to Cuba with the Rough Riders, his experiences of war. He wanted to be basically an infantryman. He just never had the body and the health for it. He did exceptional things when he broke up the rail. Carnegie and all the guys were trying to grab all the money. And same things happening today, but different stories, different characters. He broke it up because he knew it wasn't good for America. And it wasn't about what's best for him politically. It wasn't what's best for his next election or whatever, because he was already wealthy. He came from a wealthy family. You know, and back then, you know, you had wealthy and then everybody else. America had a middle class yet. He did it because it was the best thing for the growth of the country. And I look at that as in, how do we leave it better for others? How do we leave this thing we love so much that we're willing to give parts of our bodies to? How do we make it better for everybody else? And I watch this through Leo, through you, Jiva, Bruno, Jason, the people I look to because who are good instructors, people who are up there on the level of motivation for me, my mentors, whether you guys know it or not. He did it to make it better for the next person. Whether that he did that on purpose or not, or he knew he was doing that, I don't know. I mean, he's one of those people you go back in history.
He did it.
He did it. With his intention. I mean, national parks. There was no way he was going to cultivate money from it. He just knew it needed to be preserved because of the beauty, the things that we know today: Yosemite and Utah arches, and Appalachian trails.
And probably if you don't have this national park, it's probably going to be all destroyed by now.
Yeah, and you know, Yellowstone, things like that. Things that people go to today and change Grand Canyon. If you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, I've been there 3 times. If that doesn't get you going, oh, whoa, there's something out there. So I really look to those 3 books, and I have a bunch of other books that I read. I try to read books regularly. I do a lot of fiction when I'm distracted. Jiu-jitsu. When I'm struggling with jiu-jitsu.
I'm never like a big reader, but when I moved here, I started reading more. And,
yeah,
I don't know what the reason, but when I moved to the state,
I think I give books regularly.
Yeah,
I give books as gifts. I don't give books as expectations of giving me back something from you. I give books because maybe I took one sentence out of the book that I found to help me today, or 5 years from now. The books you read today usually help you 3 to 5 years from now, because it's knowledge. You have to digest it. You have to put it in a place, and then you have to find it again and go back. Reading is cutting the corner on knowledge. You may not be able to spend time going to a university or back to university or back to high school or whatever it is where you matriculated into an education where you are today, because of time and family and whatever. But you can pick up a book, and if you skim it for 1 second, 10 pages, maybe a whole book that's interesting, and put it down, you know, it's knowledge you didn't have yesterday. And I think it's a really sad, you know, and I, believe me, I've not always been a reader. My wife, God bless her, you know, one of the things that I made the mistake, and I don't think I've ever said this to anybody, I've never told you this, but when I got my black belt, I didn't thank her. I thanked everybody. But I knew I couldn't thank you because I would have started crying like a little baby. I don't want to cry when I get my black belt. And that's the first problem. I won't do that. I'm like, why are you crying? You got a black belt. Shut up. Get off the bed. But the reason why I am today the person is because of her. And she made my sons readers. Man, Devlin and Liam, and even Vincent now, they digest books. And then they throw it back at you. That's the worst thing, is they throw knowledge at me. They watch me write, and they listen to me talk, and they make fun of me because I'm virtually illiterate compared to them. And Susie's the reason why. You know, but Susie's the individual. You want to talk about mentors. You want to talk about somebody raising the bar for you. You have to be better. You want to do good things because of that individual. I don't ever want to disappoint you by missing weight. Like, I'll wake up from that's one of my recurring nightmares. Waking up in that dream going, oh my God, I gotta tell ROBYNHO that you missed weight. It's those things like that. But her, the idea that disappointing her ever kills me. And I've done so many things for her to leave me. She should have left a long time ago. I don't know what's in her mind. But here's the thing. She's always in my corner. She's the ride or die. And I always tell the boys, don't get married. Don't ever get married. And Vince had already made the choice. But what I'm waiting to hear, and what they don't know, because I never finished the sentence, is when you do find that right person, you'll come to me. I know, Dad, but you told me not to get married, but this person, get married. Because then you're coming to me with a solution. As I was telling Vincent today, all I hear is a lot of complaining. I don't hear a lot of solutions. It's one thing to complain about the water being wet. Get the hell out of the water if you don't like it being wet.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Come up with a solution.
I hear some of these guys talk, like I said, I want to hear your problems one time. The second time I want to hear the solution. Like, don't come with the same problem again. I don't care.
Because to me it turns into complaining.
Yeah.
Because I can't help complaints. All I gotta do is like, yeah. I'd rather be listening to something else. I don't want to listen to complaints. I know when I complain, people don't want to listen to me complain because I'm an angry person. God bless my boss. I got a great job. They pay me very well. But my boss, Eric Burris, holy cow, he's a saint. Because I'll call him and I'll be on foul word after foul word. And he's like, yes, oh yeah, I understand.
I learned a lot about these at church because like I'm a deacon at church, and I was in charge for the greeters for a couple years. Man, you went in front of the church, like some people come, you go the hell, oh, grumpy. Then it's like, we don't know past that person. We don't know if
you don't know what happened.
She discovered like a freaking cancer. You don't know like if the son died from OD. You don't know like you don't know nothing. So like, you know, like people complain. All right, good.
In the car, I drive a lot for work. I know I'm cutting people off left and right. You know, I know that. I'm a horrible driver. I change lane, change lane. Susie hates driving with me. Devlin hates driving with me. Matter of fact, I know for a fact, if he could have I had to drive Devlin to school because the parking was screwy one day, last week. He didn't want to take his truck, blah, blah, blah. Man, he was hitting that magic brake the whole time.
All the time.
Yeah, because I'm on the phone, looking at text, not even looking at the road. He's like, I'm a what? He's like, you're not even paying attention. But I know people are honking at me. People are brave in their cars nowadays. You know, they really want to give you the business and beat you up on the side of the road. Blah, blah, blah. And I always kind of like, oh, hey, I probably cut you off. Go ahead. You know, but I also consider this. I'm not going to return a honk, or I'm not going to honk at somebody because I get angry on the road too. And we all do. You know, I just, especially, you know, you go through an area like, you know, Caesar World, you're going to have slow drivers. And I think to myself, I don't want anybody honking at my mom and dad. Because I know my mom and dad, as my dad says, he drives like he's going to the dentist. He drives slow. I don't want anybody honking at my dad. It's just rude.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want them offended. I mean, so hopefully, if I put a little goodwill out there in the world, it'll get returned to somebody else. Because that's the thing about goodwill. You know, we do nice things for others, so hopefully somebody nice things, people we love.
Yeah.
I got plenty of nice things. I got plenty of blessings. We both do. We talk about this all the time. But I put enough goodwill out there, it'll come back to the people I love. My Jiu-jitsu family and my family. I do believe that karma is real.
Yeah.
If you have good things, I mean, some like my friends from cycling, how we originally started this conversation. The friends I have from cycling, the friends, to this day, I know, and I would be the same way. If I needed a kidney, we're the same blood type, right? Good. I'll be there in a minute. And I would do that for them too. Because those relationships were built. It's kind of, it's really similar, again, cycling. You with a team for a week, or you're with a team for a year, training and just going through the worst times, cold weather, bad bikes, bad food, diet, all those things, losses, team losses, angry coaches. There's a bond that happens. It's the same bond that happens when you compete against somebody. You hate that individual. When it's all said and done, man, let's go have a beer. No, it's fun. There's something about going through the thick of it that creates a bond that is not cannot replicate anywhere. You can't buy it. You can't go and like, oh, I'm gonna join a club and have a friend. No, it's something about struggling with somebody on the mat. You and I have so much respect for each other. But when it comes time for training, you want to rip my arm off, I want to rip your arm. I want to strangle you, want to strangle me. But when it's all done, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever time we have, man, I give you the biggest hug and I thank you. What do I say to you? Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. Everything that makes me happy today is because I have it on the mat. And you're talking about going back to sports. I haven't been on my bike probably for 5 years. I've like gone out and rode my bike, like got on it and went down the beach. And I love riding bicycles. I love it. I love putting the gear on, putting a water bottle in, getting down the road and just seeing everybody go by me. I love it. But Jiu-Jitsu has me here and focused so much because my goals are right here and they're easy to get to and they're easy to have, and you just got to put the little bit in the optimism to be successful, blah, 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 all those things. You get to that point where you choose to be here.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be here with a purpose.
Like fun fact that I talked with Gio, right? You helped me with the morning class. When I first asked you to help me with the morning class, I was like, man, I need to sleep a little bit more every day. I need to. I'm here every single class. Every single class. I'm like, what? Hold him here, like.
I'm not a coach myself.
Gio is great. Like, man, it's like he's that for us. But like sometimes, like, man, like I'm here every morning, like. 6 a.m. Like, yeah.
Good job. I mean, we talked about this the other day. You know, the owner, first one there, last one there.
Last one, yeah.
You're the not only are you the owner, you're the financial manager. You're the janitor. If you're not janitor, you're the maintenance.
No,
person.
the freaking jiu-jitsu or the freaking psychologist. You like the guy who moved house with them, like, oh, let's go.
And you got this much of teaching.
What the heck?
Actually, why you're doing this? Why you made a jiu-jitsu academy? You do this much compared to everything else you do.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
It's a wonder that anybody stays in the business and owns an academy, because if you don't do it with the right mindset and the right goals, you only do this much teaching sometimes. Where you actually where I see you enjoy the most, teaching and training. Well, guess what? That's usually only what? If we do the math, you and I in our back of our heads, 30 minutes total, just 5-minute rounds.
Yeah.
We do 5 rounds maybe, 10 if we get crazy. Okay, then we do specific training. But still, all day long you're here for how many rounds? And you know as well as I do, there's certain people you love training with. I mean friends. You love training with. I cannot wait to see certain people to train with, because I have a good time. I know they're not going to hurt me. I know they're going to give me the strong fight. I know I'm going to get better from it. And I love seeing them. There's a lot of people I'm like, man, I'm just going to go ahead and train with them. I know I'm going to get my butt whooped, but you know you're going to be better for it. But good God, a gym owner, that's the smallest part. Again, we do all this for what?
All this.
We do this for what? To be hurt? To talk about the good. I mean, we have more stories about training than we do have about winning a championship. Not because we haven't won championships. We've been to the championships, whether as spectators or competitors. But we have more stories and more fun facts about being trained.
And that's the other thing. Back in the was the new or the, I think it was the old headquarters still. And then Leo, when finished one of the camps, he asked me. Was on the not even open headquarters. The camp was at freaking Conicoma.
Oh, okay.
And then they asked me me to say something, to talk to them. Then I said like, man, enjoy the camp, enjoy the time. In 5-10 years, nobody and again look, 5-10 years nobody even remember who was the world champion. A blue belt lightweight who won 3 years ago. We don't know. But in 20 years we'll be talking about what happened in the camp. The fun time we have
in 20 years, I'll guarantee you, I could call Jeff. Hey Jeff, I need my AC done. Be there in a minute.
Yeah.
That's the bond that happens when you compete against somebody and you train against somebody. And those bonds are irreplaceable. They're not something you buy. It's something you earn. The respect, the ability to have those conversations and be accountable for each other. Because, we used to have this one teammate, oh my God. He was a real piece of work. And he never had a filter. And we used to just give him a bad time. And
we sounds like me.
We know this guy, we would pick on him. We would bully him. Young kid. We did things with his camera that his mom found. Anyway. Long story short, but he was our crazy dude. So anybody else talked bad about it. Whoa. No.
Like we talked the other day.
Yeah.
And so, hey, you, come here, retarded.
No.
So like,
whoa.
Hey, retarded. No. You can't call him retarded.
Who are you?
Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
I'm going to fight because of this.
Absolutely.
Hey, Pancho, man, fat guy, come here, like with this belly, beer belly. Like, if someone say, like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? You crazy?
Yeah.
Like,
but that's the bond that happens over time as training partners, and I don't know why it happens. It's the same thing with warriors from the Army, the Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard. These people go out and put their lives on the line. And I remember reading, there was a movie called Hooligans. If you want to watch it, it's about soccer, about West Ham.
I watched it already.
Okay. In the movie, it says, it's not that I know that they have my back. It's the feeling I know that I have their back. It's part of that tribe that we form, that culture that's what makes us come back. And when you get that click, when you get that, like my friend Laurent, what he misses, there was a click there. There was I don't mean a click as a group, but there was a click of people, personalities matched, drives. We had always that weirdo. We had that one guy that was just out here. We had Benny. Benny, he's a UFC fighter. He's one of the better grapplers I've ever been with, and an incredible human being. Blah blah blah. We had all from that to guys that were convicts.
Yeah.
Right. And in a room like that, and we still get that bond. Where you need help in your house. I'll be there tomorrow. You get that, and not anywhere else. I mean, you go to work every day and work in a refinery or work in an office or a supermarket. Hey, how's it going, Pete? Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh yeah, have a good time doing that. You're not gonna get somebody to go, hey, I'll come over and help paint your house. Let's go. We're good time.
That's true.
That's the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu.
Two last questions, from the one who have a UFC to watch. What we're gonna say for the young generation today? What that device is gonna tell them about sport, like training, or what gonna tell them? Like, look, go this way. You're gonna shortcut a little bit of the rest.
Pick a goal. Make it the scariest thing that you can make. Make it the craziest goal. Being world champion, that's a crazy goal. IBJJF, best in the world. Pick a goal and build a strategy to achieve it. And I'm not talking like, oh, I'm going to compete before this championship. No. What are you going to do today to achieve that goal? So make that the 50,000 foot goal, and then start building down and write it out. I write things out. As you can see, I got a book with me. I write things out.
That was all like, what's this? Like, I was gonna ask, like,
this is how I hold myself accountable. This is how I set my goals.
This is your journal.
I have my journals at home, but these are like my daily thoughts and crazy things I do. Mm-hmm. These are things that I write things down.
Why do you put the page have a naked girl there?
No, it's Susie.
She don't watch this like oh, that was Susie, like
those are pictures of
trying to make the joke, and then the joke come back like, what the?
Yeah, I said it. Now I'm in trouble. But write it out, and then make your goal chart. If you don't make a plan, someone's gonna make a plan for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay. So how do we get around that? Young athletes, if you think just showing up every day and Ohhh every day, it's gonna work for some. I believe in that. We've seen those individuals. But if you really want to get the most juice for the squeeze, the most opportunity to cut the corner, to make it happen today, write a goal, set a strategy, and build it out to the day, to the hour. Do it for the year, do it for 3 years, do it for a 5-year plan, whatever it is. But build it, and then break it down to the very moment of every day you wake up. What am I doing today to make that goal achievable? And there's certain people in this sport that have done that I know of, and they have taught that to other people. I think that's the biggest gift as an instructor, as a master instructor, as a professor that you can do, is give that gift of knowledge of how to build that goal and understand it's achievable. You may not get there in 3 years, you may not get there in a month. And there's going to be setbacks, and there's going to be also cut the corner where you go faster. But if you build it out every night and you lay down in bed and you put your head on the pillow, you know you've done something to achieve that goal. And if that goal, like again, you can't find it, it's not jiu-jitsu, so be it. You know, if it's to be the best baseball player, cyclist,
yeah,
you know, whatever, you have to put it together. And guess what? People lose that. They go to college for 4 or 5 years. You got to take X amount of classes. That's your strategy. And then they say, okay, you get to the first day of class. They give you the syllabus. You got to read these books. You got to read this. You got to read this report. It's the same thing. And then all of a sudden, when they leave college, they forget it. It's like they don't apply it. You did 4 or 5 years. Some are doctors. They did 12 years, and they don't take that same strategy to make themselves even more successful. Because it's one thing to show up and be successful, but then to continue to be successful, to keep returning to that top of the podium. That's when you become the force of nature. To become a force of nature, you have to become the force that moves things that are not easily moved. And make bigger steps. So build a goal. And I have, you're going to laugh at me, but if I know I'm competing, I start building my strategies. I start building how I'm going to obviously, the strategies I've built in the last 3 years have not been very good. We've been there for both of them, all of them. You've seen me do well, and you see me done poorly.
Yeah, that's what about saying. I would say like, no, the strategy you did like was good. Like we said, like sometimes we're gonna do everything and I'm gonna achieve the what you expect.
I think you're giving me more credit because I think the result from Vegas was you didn't do anything right. It was horrible.
Yeah, well, like I said, like you know, like man, like, I don't want to say nothing, but I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, like,
no,
like I do after the fight.
And again, for the amount of work you put in and not to achieve, that's the frustration.
Yeah.
The result is the result. You can't change that. But
you know, like you work hard for everything.
And that in itself, like I said, you take your ego out of the room. If you take your ego out of the room, you're going to find the universe is doing things for you. Strangely enough, Renato was here teaching something. He spoke right to me. Was it intentional? I don't know. He talked to me about it. He saw things. And again, you take your ego out of the room and you allow yourself to have somebody give you knowledge. Sometimes that's the toughest thing, especially after the beating I took. You have to stand up and take that beating and willing to accept your failure and then start on a new path. So set a goal.
Now the one is good. Like what do you wanna say? Why you will say for the young Vince, like the 20 years Vince, 30 years ago? What the advice gonna give to him?
So when I was 40. No, you know what the best thing is I don't have many regrets. The reason I don't have any regrets is I don't look at regrets as negative. You know, 33 years of marriage, I have no idea how I got here. 10 years of being your student, being belted under you, I have no idea how we got here. It's gone by so fast.
Yeah.
So I don't have regret. What I would tell younger me or a younger person is give yourself grace. Don't work so hard. Don't think that quantity is better than quality. Spend quality time doing things that matter. Quality time to things that will matter later in life. Do things that will change your attitude. Because I used to just go out and just try to work harder than anybody else. Stupid. Quantity. If I was to step back and to look at getting the right coach in front of me and the right nutritionist and the things that we know today, man, God knows where I would be. But what I'm getting at is this. Give yourself grace. Give yourself the opportunity to fail and come back. And I think that's what's missing today in a lot of these athletes is that they think it's over. It's over. No matter what happens, you know, and we go through those emotional things. But if I was to sit back and say, find the knowledge to make yourself better, I missed that opportunity. I always thought, you know, no, I'm going to keep just working hard. I don't think I was ever a gifted athlete. You know, I played at a high level, but that was it. But if I just would have stopped and maybe done things more technical, I think achievements would be different. But with no regret though, because I go back and do it again.
And back then you don't know. There's like we said, like we talked in the beginning, like today you go on the TV, you have YouTube, you have everything you need. Back in the days, you have to trust in someone that he's the best coach. They're gonna give you the knowledge you need to conquer the next step. So
there's choices that happen for us. We can't change who we are. I think if we can take those as negative as they are for me sometimes, I can make them better. It's not about doing the wrong. I'm not going to do that today. You know, make a list of things, you know, to do or whatever. Make a list of things to do that are good for you. Right? Like I'm not going to eat. You know, I'm going to exercise. No. Think about what you're going to do, and be purposeful in your intent, and be excellent at what you do. Because it's one thing to say that, you know, I'm going to have to morph into be a better whatever. You got to put work in. It doesn't matter what it is. You got to put the work in. Now, you have to cultivate who you want to be. So, if I go along the way and I see, okay, I want to be like that, I want to take from that, I see this person, you know, and you kind of create a painting of who you want to be, and then you create that, and then you're going to have to go and learn and be, as I stated, being a forever learner, always wanting to have knowledge somewhere. It doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. It could be, chemistry. It could be, for me lately, it's early Indian history. I don't know why, but I need to know more. And there's millions of books out there. Go out and seek knowledge. Be purposeful in that, and then become an expert in your own mind. Be comfortable having a conversation. So much so that I can teach you now, because I'm comfortable teaching certain positions in jiu-jitsu. There's some I'm not, and I need to go out and become better at teaching. So I got to find instructors that will get me that knowledge.
So you tell to the young one to read more too.
I try to read as much every day. Every day I read something. I usually read the paper in the morning. I'm still old school. I like to get my fingers black. I try to read something in regards during the day, during my breaks, that are going to increase my professional aptitude and my success. And then at night, fiction. Fiction is what distracts me from my failures. And it's usually very vindictive fiction. It's very mean and just raw fiction where you're like, oh my God, this guy's really going to die like this. And you're happy about it because it happened to somebody else.
And the nigga still down with us. Yeah,
there you go. I know him and his dad are at the beach today, enjoying themselves, hopefully.
Good.
These are.
That's the kid, like, man, that family, like we talk with her, like, that family, like, man.
Yeah.
Boji, like.
Antonio, I
had the pleasure. You should go one day to Brazil and see where they grow up, where they place, like.
I'd love
and then
to.
you're gonna give even more credit, like, wow.
Yeah, the story again. How do you not root for that?
Yeah.
That champion. How do you not root for him? Like, truly knowing. I mean, and I know I'm on the inside in the knowledge I have about him as an athlete and as a person.
But it's on the freaking pyramid. Everybody. Again, much respect. I love Tainan, but like everybody wanna love to see the underdog win.
Yeah.
The guy who don't have the second chance. He don't have the second chance.
He burns the bridge behind him.
The Nego story, if you go, I come from the bad neighborhood in Brazil too. Like, everything sent me to die or go jail or go like, but praise the Lord, I have my mom give me a good foundation. But everything sent to the wrong side. And they were like, everything like, and look, he did whatever he needs to become a champion.
Yeah.
That's just one chance. You don't have second one.
There's no second opportunity in his world. But at the same time, I'm a father. I've raised men. To watch that family, and I know there's more children, but to watch Jonathan and the Nego and celebrate together with their father, that was something special to me. The champion's a beautiful thing. The medal, but that intimate moment that was shared in such a vast room of people who were celebrating with them. I mean, think about it. The whole stadium was celebrating with one individual. The whole stadium. His achievement, as I stated, when that was over, the energy was gone. Nobody wanted to stay for the open match. Nobody stayed for the
watch the open.
Nobody.
I didn't watch the open.
Who was in
class.
it? Who was in it?
People like, oh, this happened with Anna and
Eric.
Cesar, I don't even know.
Eric was in it, and who was the other champion?
Victor Hugo.
Okay. I feel bad, but at the same time, that shows you that moment in time.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for him. I've trained with him. We laugh. I enjoy his company. His English is better than my Portuguese. Hopefully one day I'll change that. When I go to Brazil, I'll be able to enjoy myself better. But my point is, he's an inspiration because of his sacrifice. But the sacrifice of love. The willingness to give to children, to people, to see the success beyond yours. As a father is our tenet in life, as a core Christian family member. you have to want to see those things because it rejuvenates my faith. It rejuvenates my love. It rejuvenates my inspiration.
Yeah.
If you do not recognize that, shame on you. But also, I feel bad people that weren't there. There's one thing to see it on flow, but to see it in person, and again, I'm in on the inside because I train with these people, but to see it happen and watch the interaction, man, it's a moment in time that I could not. It's a movie, you know. At the end of I'm a horrible crier. I cry at commercials, you know. I was emotional with my kids, but I know how I deal with my son. Oh, you know, my son gets an ASO award and I was crying. You know, that's who I am. You know, when Liam won he had second place after training for 4 months at the NAD World, I was emotional. You know, I can't coach them. You have to coach them. They're your students. I always say to you. You don't want to know why? Because I'm emotional. I'll cry. That's the reason why I say no. They're your students. Whenever you say, "Go Vince, go coach," I'm like, no, I can't. I literally emotionally I can't because I'm so emotionally invested in these individuals and their success that I don't want to see them fail. Not because I don't think they deserve that, but because it hurts me more than it hurts them. And I want to see them succeed in so many different levels in life that their success is my success because the highs and lows of my life are my children and the children I chose to make my family. Man, it's the most beautiful thing to see somebody rise, and then get there, and then man.
And especially because the time you were training with others, you saw like every belt and they would like go like from the kid that come from Panam 2013, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And no, it wasn't the name. It was Dudu. Lost to Tai, who told
Yeah,
the
that's
final.
right, yeah.
The kids like yellow belt, orange belt, you know. And then you see like now they become a man like world champions and
I feel sorry for the people that missed. I mean, you missed. If you are a jiu-jitsu practitioner and you're like, oh, I'm going to sit and watch flow and whatever. Okay, but you miss that once in a lifetime thing that happening, that the little spark that happened, and you missed it. And at the same time, I mean, I wish the world for Nego, but I wish it for Antonio.
Yeah.
And I have so much, like I said, love and respect for that man. Is that he has cultivated the two children I know, Jonathan and Nego. He's cultivated them into the people that are, and they are genuine individuals. I've never seen them do anything, irresponsible. Like we joke around and Nego's afraid to drink Gatorade.
Yeah.
That's his mentality. He's focused. And you see Jonathan work hard, and he won a few tournaments this year, and then he got married. You're just like, man.
And he did great in the Worlds too.
I mean, his return to the high level. I mean, so much respect to Antonio because, golly, the struggle that he, that you shared with me, and what he had to do to keep his children safe, to keep his children happy,
to get his children on the mat training, like to keep.
But all of them.
Yeah.
Not the two that we know. The story goes, like I said, that's a movie waiting to happen. Nobody knows about it. And I think that movie's everywhere. I'm not saying it's isolated to them. I think that movie is everywhere in jiu-jitsu.
That was the one we closed.
That's the one that was most recent. That's how we know there's hope in the world. Is that there's individuals like them. And I'm privileged to be part of the Checkman family. I'm privileged to be part of your family. At the same time, I know that I'm living in a bonus time of my life because I don't know how I got here. I really don't. I can't explain it.
It's crazy. I don't know. Like yesterday, I was thinking and I get myself thinking this all the time. Like, man, because I think about change the car, and that's like. I said,
the car thing again. The car thing.
Because I say, man, I have my driving and say like, I have my dream car. Back in the days in Brazil when I was young, I swear to Lord, I don't even think I will have a car. I said like, man, if I can buy a car, a small car in Brazil, like, man, it would be great. It would be like, man, like, house. Like I would live with my grandma and my grandpa for years.
Yeah.
Never think. I remember the first time yesterday I was thinking like the first time my brother got in the airplane was me and him, like because he got in the airplane after he got married. He never got in the airplane. The first time I got in the airplane for come to Panama. I got a sponsor and come here. And there was talk like me, my brother and our friends there that live next to us. Like, remember how I was like, oh man, like man, it's crazy. Like when you go, because we always love cars.
Yeah.
It's like when the turbo, the boost go like that, but the big like, oh really, and like to see where I am now, like man, no complaining, like man.
I mean, that's being grateful. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's stopping this to be grateful, and if it's sad that there's people out there that don't stop to understand that the universe is leaning in your direction. It's leaning a positive. Everybody around you wants to see you succeed. People that are investing want to see you succeed. And sometimes it's our egos that get in the way and put those blinders up because we don't allow ourselves to see that we have been successful. We have achieved this thing.
And the other thing, the universe works for you, but they don't stop because of you. So you have to do something, do it, because the world's not gonna like, oh, because you suffer and you pass for this, the world's still the same. Tomorrow gonna be the same thing. Nothing changed. They work for you, but they don't stop for you.
If we were to sit back and look at the people that, like you said, have come through our academies or come through our jiu-jitsu lives, all the ones that who have stopped, and maybe they stopped for good reason, health conditions, family reasons, job, okay, but the ones that didn't take the first lesson of jiu-jitsu, which is you tap a lot. And then again, you become a great fighter, but you don't become a good martial artist. That's hard. That's a hard discipline to transition to. If you, as a coach, can't get people to appreciate that. And so what I'm getting at is, be grateful for the things that we have, and we see it. We have certain members here at Academy who have parents that are struggling, that we're doing everything for them, and we never knew this about them. And we see it happen, like, wow, you see the way he acted with his mother. His mother was in a wheelchair, and you're like, man, he's doing everything for you. He's sacrificing everything. You see those individuals, the sacrifice they're willing to make for a person, that they love and they're invested. But those are true martial artists. Those are people that come through here. And then if you miss that opportunity, Ali asks you come back and try it again, and want to try it again, and be present for the moment, and understand that, boys hate this. When they were young, it's just like jiu-jitsu. It's just like the lesson you're going through now. It's just like jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, it's similar. And finally, I had to catch myself. I'm like, man, I got to stop relating everything to jiu-jitsu.
But
everything is.
Exactly, everything is. It's like you say, jiu-jitsu is not just a martial art. It's a way of life. It's hard
a mindset.
to say, like, for people who don't train, it's hard. Like they're never gonna understand. That's why I feel like try jiu-jitsu at least one class.
Yeah.
You see, like all the famous guys, like the most good careers and millionaire, they do jiu-jitsu. Like Joe Rogan, now the Facebook guy, Mark Zuckerberg, man, all these people.
The reason they do it, the reason they do it because it's hard. Okay. First of all, we talked about this. It's not for everybody. It's hard, but doing things that are hard make you better.
Yeah.
So there's no growth in comfort. There isn't. You want to be comfortable? Be comfortable when you retire. But even then, do something that makes you uncomfortable. Learn a language. Learn something you don't know. Challenge yourself. Susie's learning Spanish. She's almost, in 2 years' time now, she's conversing with my mom. She's confident with it. Or not as confident, but she's getting. But I'm getting us. Take yourself out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Do jiu-jitsu. That's why people do it. If you see like an actor, like the actor Bane, he was the character Bane in Batman. I forget his name. He's from England. Tom Hardy.
Don't hard get this
Okay,
purple belt. Huh?
Okay, you got a purple belt. That's new. Another movie star. He was a wrestler. He's a purple belt, a brown belt now. He was in.
Like Spain 1, Beef 1.
So the reason they do it is because it's hard. Now, if you look at acting, you get a lot of no's. You have a better chance of becoming a fireman, or how you say. There was an adage where being a successful actor is really hard. The people that are truly, particularly to the top of the acting level, where you're like, wow, they pulled that role off, or wow, they did a good job of that. They do it because it's hard. And people are gifted, yeah, they can act. I mean, I've seen actors, up close, when they just turn it on, you're like, whoa, I don't know if they had that. I've seen it. But the reason they do things because it's hard. It's not for everybody. If they keep pushing themselves out of that comfort zone, it's not comfort on it's not easy going home and having to answer my wife, how'd you do tonight? ROBYNHO wrecked my neck, got my shoulder. Yeah. It's not easy to admit those things, but I'm obviously at a point in my journey where it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Before, everybody's like, oh my God, I got choked up by this guy. He's twice the size of me, or he's smaller. You choose not to challenge yourself. And that's the hardest thing every day is wake up and challenge yourself to do something that's not the norm. Read a book that you don't understand. Do some research. Heck, martial arts doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. Do something else. Judo, it's not easy. Learning a language, it's not easy. Get your college degree, it's not easy. Take yourself out of the comfort zone. If you want to be a better coach, go find coaching that's better than you so you can learn certain things to give to other people so you can push it down, make it better for life. It's not easy admitting you don't know how to, I don't know how to do advanced calculus. Okay. Why did you teach it? There's a thing called YouTube. Man, recently I'm hooked on math. All the math I don't know. Two things. One, I'm illiterate virtually because I don't know how to break down a sentence. That's part of my barrier for learning a language, in my opinion. But number two, my math. So I don't, like everyone you go through college, I'll never use this again. What am I going to use statistics for? What am I going to use, trigonometry for? Well, guess what? I'm starting to use it again. So lately, I've been on the YouTube, I've been on Instagram looking at all these people solve like these, long quadratic equations.
One page, like
right?
Whole page.
And I'm like, makes no sense to me why I have to learn this, but I'm relearning it. I'm like, oh, I remember that. But again, take it out of your comfort zone. Make it a daily habit of doing something that doesn't feel good. Perfect example, we talked about this. I hate walking. Hate it. There's nothing redeeming to me at all. I think I can't tell you what I'd rather do, but I would. The reason I ride a bike is I hate running and I hate walking. When I get off the bike, you should do a triathlon. No. When I get off the bike, I'm done. Every morning I walk 30 to 40 minutes. Every time I get home, how was your walk? It's good. Through grit teeth, I'm like, yeah, that's good. It's good. It's so fun. I hate walking. I walk by myself, number one, so I don't have to keep up with Susie. But number two, I just, in the back of my head, I hate doing, why am I doing this? But recent studies show that if you do 30 to 40 minutes, it helps you lose weight.
Yeah, see?
30 to 40 minutes helps your heart. 30 to 40 minutes, get your meditation going, get your mind right. The benefits of walking first time in the morning has so many outstanding reasons to do it. But I hate it. But I do it anyway because it takes me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
It starts my day. It makes this writing, it allows me to meditate on my writing, it allows me to meditate on the crap I have to get through. Those competitions I'm getting ready for, the relationships I don't have. That's where it occurs by myself. And Susie goes with me during the summer times occasionally, and it was a distraction. And I love walking with Susie. And we talk, chat, but it happens all the time. But when I'm by myself, it's more of a benefit. It's for me. So do something that challenges it, that's for you, but also make people around you better. That's walking. And I hate walking. I hate walking. We've talked about it. It's good for you, but I don't see the purpose in it. Yeah. Susie, we went to San Diego Zoo. Susie wanted to walk around the San Diego Zoo. I'm like,
why?
This is
why?
This is a good idea. Let's go. And it's up, and I forgot. It's up and down. It's over here. And the animals are over there sitting in, the heat. No, they're sweaty. I'm sweaty. They don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Great time. This is fun. This is good. Liam's down here, right? Yeah, let's go see Liam. Right? It's do something that makes you uncomfortable every day.
That's true. You have to do. Like they say, like do something that you hate as you love, and then you're gonna get next.
You'll see the growth. You'll see the growth.
Uncle Vince, thank you so much.
I'm glad you asked.
I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Anytime,
Enjoy it.
Anytime you want to talk.
Enjoy it.